Welcome to the Art of Communicating Data show, where we will share tips and tricks from data experts and leave you with actionable recommendations. The goal is to help you grow in your data career by getting your work and you recognized through effective communication. I'm your host, Hana, a geographer turned data professional and an introvert who loves public speaking. Let's get started. In today's interview with Natalia, we're going to give you some advice and inspiration for making beautiful data visualizations and art. I go live to record these interviews for my podcast. If you join live, you get the opportunity to ask your questions to the guests, and you can get the help you need for your data communication journey. If you want to be notified about these future interviews, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, which you can do so at trending-analytics.com/subscribe. Our guest today, Natalia, she is a data artist, a comic, a founder of the data art community called Flowers and Numbers. I'm so excited to have her here today and share her advice and experience with us. Welcome, Natalia. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got into making data art and comics?
Oh, thank you so much, Hannah. About myself, I'm an engineer, and in some step in my career, I think that I love data visualization. I love charts, tables, and it looks so interesting for me. So I pivot. But now I am a trainer. I train people about data visualization. I train in several universities. I'm the founder of the community, mentor, trainer, chief editor, etc. I use Power BI and Tableau when I'm working with dashboards. I love data viz comics, data art. And about my way, I think everything begins with comics because I like to draw simple comics, maybe, like manga style, maybe just some doodles. And when I was interested in data visualization, I just began to doodle something about data visualization. And because data people love comics so much, somehow I was in the community and it was so fun. Then I meet Data Visualization Society, and it was 18 years. Yes, and it was the first year of Data Visualization Society. I think this is my superpower comics. This one helps me in that visualization, but still it's not really related to it. It helped me when I wanted to change my career path after being for 15 years for engineer, like electric cam designs, a cabinet,
Right.
really complicated stuff with an energy, and I need something more artistic. I'm not a designer and I'm not an artist, but I love to doodle. And then I became the data visualizator, business intelligence analyst. I found the free 40 days marathon with Tableau, and I trained it myself during my day job. On
Wow.
the morning, evening, I just from mobile, just
Wow.
watching videos, reading something, and I understand Tableau. And then I begin to create some simple mockups, maybe for dashboards, and they find my first data viz job. And then I trained Power BI there, and I became a trainer and analyst. I created real dashboards. I became more and more proficient at data visualization, and I helped with community, with SMM. I don't know, it was a little company, and I made like everything here and there. I draw comics, I translated texts, I made posts on social networks and create dashboards and train people. So it was fun. That's when I began to love blogging. The beginning of the scary story. Yes, and then I found about data art. It was like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, it's so bright, so colorful, and not just okay. I love dashboards, bar charts, line charts, but that art is like new level of the expressions. It's so hard to understand. It have a little unique mystic inside, like some enigma,
Right.
some
Yeah.
puzzle quest. I don't know how to tell it. A little story that you need to find out yourself. So
Hmm.
I begin to search for this project, read book Data Art. Dear Data was the first one. And my favorite that artists are Federico Fragapane, Giorgia Lupi, Stephanie Pazavic, and Shirley Wu, and Sonia Kupes. I love their project so much, and Carol Bensi is great too. And I wanted to try. I
Right.
wanted to try it because oh my god, it's so cool. And I get my markers, get my pen, and just try to make something like Dear Data. Just draw my
Oh,
friends with some little worms. And it was like, oh my god, it's so cool, it's so simple. Maybe it's not perfect, not like for museums, not for exhibition, and maybe some information is beautiful of art, but for me it was like, wow, it's masterpiece for me, it's so great. And somehow I like the process, because I think in that art the process of creation is a great pleasure itself. And when you see the result, it's cool too, but the
Right.
process, yes, I love it so much. And maybe I got addicted to it somehow. And then I begin to think how I could make more data art project, because I have one job, I have my second job, but I still want to try that art. And I understand that the best way to motivate myself is to choose the topic that I like so much that I won't drop it. Or maybe some, important topic, maybe ecology, maybe family, something that touch you deeply. And I choose the topic family. And I didn't understand something about that art yet. And I didn't know about types of coding information, about visual attributes or gestalt principles. I just wanted to create something beautiful. And I go to Figma. Figma is a free tool where you could work with simple vector graphic. And I find several prototypes, because I love from my childhood. I love that beautiful Mason folk paint where the person painted over the wooden, I don't know, elements in their in their houses with red houses with red birds. It's such, unique, maybe folk, a little ethnic, and I love it so much. And I wanted to base my data art on it. And I just found several examples of these Mason paintings, put it in Figma, and just begin to work with pen to create a copy
Oh.
of these elements, or maybe something similar to these elements. And then I code at that element the symbols I want, my family. These paintings really looks ancient, like my homeland from the north. And I just coded myself like a big horse. Two little horses are my parents, birds are my grandparents, etc., etc. Not so
Oh.
much information. It was really table wrote by hand in just a notebook, in note, and that was enough. And I was so surprised that so many people loved it. Everyone thought it was so cool, and I was surprised, and it was a great feedback for me to continue this. I wrote an article about it in Nightingale. I think it was mentioned in two awards, like in long list, short list, not a winner, but still it was like new world for me. I'm not a
Yeah,
designer.
that's
I don't understand the thing about design principles at all, about colors. You could see I use black, white, and red, because I don't understand about the triangle of colors. Then I begin to study more about data art and even get some courses. One, another, try to understand maybe system, because I'm not a designer, but most of popular data artists are great designers. Their works are just mind blowing. They're so cool. And I thought I couldn't make something like this with my fingers. I don't know how to work with Adobe Illustrator, but then I understand that shortcuts are okay. And that's my second big project about death on the roads. Again, I choose the important topic. I was bad with colors, and I used the pre-made color palette from the special website, and it was a great help for me because the colors looks beautiful,
yeah, it
but
does.
I couldn't collect them myself. Then, because there are a big amount of data, I found the site of World Bank and got the data from that website. Uh, Big Excel file or maybe CSV file with dynamic data for several countries about the topic I need. I found the free data sets about it and combine it at my pace. And then I use one great tool. It's called raw graphs. You could just it's free tool. You could just get your table with data and copy paste there, and then choose diagram type you need, and you'll get the prototype for your data visualization in vector
I
format.
see.
Yes, and then you could just put it to Figma, to Illustrator, where you want, and ungroup it, move it for any object. Like you could see these little colorful rounds on the left, cycles. And that was my prototype. That I just put it to my Figma and begin one by one create this little plants. And it was like middle of night. I was on maternal leave with little baby who was a bed sleeper. Yes, I couldn't get away from the bed because she will sense it and wake up. And that was I try to be near her and work with my laptop. Just which touchpad I work in Figma to create these elements, to move it with
Amazing.
pen. Yes, with it wasn't really comfortable, but still it was okay. It was really baby steps for me because I think the person could create this project maybe in weekends, in one weekend,
Right.
maybe 2 days. I created for several months because I don't have time at all.
That's
And I was like,
understandable. Yeah.
step by step, today I will make this plant. Next week I'll create next plant. And it's nice because the 3 months will gone, but I'll have a great, beautiful data art project. It wasn't so hard as I thought because I don't use some complex techniques, some expensive tool.
I love the shortcuts that you talk about in this project, like with using this tool to help you choose the color palette. You know, and if people are undecided or unsure about how to choose colors, this is such a great hack. And then using a simple tool, a free tool like Figma and your laptop to create this piece of beautiful data viz. Do you also like sketch out on a piece of paper the ideas you have and then you go on
Yes,
Figma?
I have no, I have that just this little notebook, and I draw here all my sketches. Just I don't know, I don't have a pencil. No pencil. You just got your pen, black one, and you draw something. It then if it's bad, you just got new
Start a new
new
page.
page. Yes, because it's faster. Then if you begin to make a sketch, then you begin to contour it, then erase pencil. So I just drop it. I'm like no MVP. It's my the most favorite word because perfection. I don't know the word perfection because I just don't understand how could I create something perfect. So I just trying to make something to finish
Mm,
something and step by step I try don't I try not to make ambitious goals.
mm.
Just a next step, little one, a little detail, little movement, and somehow it's the better tactic if I have maybe more time and bigger project. So I think it works nice for me, especially without time, because I draw like on my knee when my baby plays near me, and I have 5 minutes for myself. I just
That's
do
amazing.
something.
That's
Yes.
amazing work that you're able to get that done during your maternity leave. Caroline is watching the interview and is saying, "I'm enjoying watching this interview. Amazing work." I agree. This is such beautiful, amazing work, Natalia.
Thank you so much. And I'm a newbie, really, because it's all thanks to this beautiful color palette. Watch these colors on this white plants. I don't know what is it. I thought it's a cotton because I think about cotton
Oh yeah,
injuries, their throats, some correlation. But later I Google this plant on the picture and I'm not sure it's a cotton anymore.
it's
But still,
beautiful.
it's a nice legend.
Mm.
Yes. And then I want to continue my data art way, and I still don't have enough time because my kid was really little, like a year maybe, and I was like full hand with her. She began to move, and it became more complicated and less sleep at night. And I invent simple method how to practice data art. I make a little challenge for myself with the same notebook. I just choose a little topic. I collect a little simple personal data,
Mm,
like deer data, and draw it again, almost with a pencil, just maybe a little to mark the data. And then I just begin to draw here all my little data art projects. Here you can see it one by one. And I tried to spend as little time as I could, maybe half an hour for the
mm,
data and maybe half an hour for the drawing. And I create about 10 pieces. And it was a
mm.
great practice to break this, the limitation of perfection again. The scariest thing when I don't have inspiration, I don't have ideas, I don't know what to do. I just surf through Pinterest and Google something like ink patterns, ink
Oh,
flowers, and just scroll it, add for my board, and then watch it. and think about, it's so beautiful. What if I create that art based on it? And it works well. It's, of course, it's a practice, not like a unique personal project, but still it has my data inside. And it was so much fun to create it. And I need only my notebook and my pen and maybe a laptop to get some data, or draw it maybe by hand or convert it in Excel. Somehow I got data from my mobile phone or maybe from my blog, convert some exports. Some application could export your data for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I use it. If I have it, I use it, and it was really cool to get personal data set and work with it. I collect worldwide data art pieces at one collection. I began to collect it one by one. I had blog about it with my friend, and we just save and post there all data art projects we found in the internet. And now there are about 300 pieces there. And I
Wow.
hope I'll make it more and more. And I begin to research it and think about it and classify it. And I got so many ideas and inspiration from it. And then I got books. If you want to study something, just bought books. And it's a great idea because after reading it, I just couldn't stop myself from doing more and more data art projects, because it's so great motivation about you read other person experience, deep experience about data art, and it's so interesting and in simple too, especially making with data. It's about material data art and data visualization, about knitting the data, making from paper, from clay. I create my climate bracelets from the beads, and it was like, wow, for me. I create something so unique and so beautiful. But I was always bad with crafting items, It's not for me, but with suffering and struggling, I create it. Maybe it will broken easily, but it looks nice. And for me, it's just, oh my God, it's the best thing I ever done. Then I was kind of lonely because it's kind of hard to find a person with whom you could talk about that art. You need to grab it and like, listen
Right.
for me. I want to talk to you about that art. Look for my, this is my bracelet. This is beautiful that art projects. Let's
Can't talk
chat
to your
about
baby
it.
about this.
Yes, it's just she's so little now. She's just 3 years old, but she already got all my bits and play with it. Yes, so I need to find someone, and I connect one girl who have a data art blog. We didn't know each other well, just we never meet, but somehow I write to her and tell something like, let's make video stream about that art. You like that art, me like that art, let's chat about it. Maybe someone will come to our video stream, maybe 5, 10 people. It will be fun. We'll save it on YouTube. And she said, okay, and travel to my city, and we have a chat, we drink tea, and we discuss the data art, and it was so great. And then we got several video streams. Then the people who visit the first video streams, they was interested in data art too, but they love generative data art or maybe handmade data art, material data art, and we discuss it, and it was so much fun, and more people were involved in it. And in the end, we even create the community. It was like spontaneous decision. Do you know the community data garden? They inspire me to create my community because I just read about them. И как, oh my God, it's so cool. They help like girls and to code, to create something beautiful, and got some useful tool. And I was like, oh my God, I wanted to. And I post at night at my blog something like, oh my God, let's create a little community. Here is the chat. I posted the link to the chat and go to sleep. And in mornings there were 20 people. And I was like, oh my God, what are you going to do with it? We really have a lot of fun. We begin to practice. We begin to invent some projects. Here
Mm.
is example of our database projects, where we try to invent symbols of our community to code our simple data about our data art, design, and data skills. And I even wrote about it in Nightingale. And then we just have so much fun. But community became bigger now, like 150 persons there. And we have meetings soon, like offline workshop, where we will create material data arts all together. We'll make some t-shirts with our symbols, and it's so much fun. It's so interesting. I created several media sources for our community, like website, Substack, YouTube, and even donate page and Boosty. So I just began some activity, and there are so many unique people in our community, like editors, coders, analysts. And if I need some help, I just ask, and people help me, and it's so friendly and beautiful, and everyone shares their progress. So I hope it will remain a warm and helpful community. Now it's only 3 months, but I hope it will become bigger and bigger and better. To summarize all my long speech and to share several links that I think will be useful for beginners, free tools, free websites where you can get your inspiration, or maybe pellets, or maybe data, or maybe create your data visualization prototype, and of course Figma. It's like a universal tool. And that's my simple tips. I hope you could read it. Begin simple. Use your energy of your emotion, because if you like something, it's really great step for your creative power. And with data art, you just get something you like, you get something you can do, maybe some your skill, and just combine it into data art. If you know how to make cups from the clay, just create a clay cup about your friends with data art inside. You know this project about copper tubes, about positive trends in the world. I love this project so much. I forgot the author's name, but it's inspired me always when I think about the data art don't have any limitations. You could
Right.
begin
Uh-huh.
simple.
I love your emphasis on keeping it simple, starting with topics that are familiar to you and materials that are familiar
Yes.
to you. You know, sometimes if you feel like you want to try something new, like you did with your bracelet or the beads, I remember you telling me how painful that was,
Oh my
blood,
god.
sweat, and
I
tears,
wanted to
literally into
create
it.
scarf. Like no, everyone created
Right.
scarf about
Yeah.
temperature. And I think, oh my god, scarf, it's so complicated. There are many, colors of the threads. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But beads, it's so simple. But it was so much crazy.
Yeah, I like the shortcuts that you used as well. We don't need to invest in expensive tools or techniques. You can use shortcuts and be okay with using tools like Figma, or even, as you said, you started off with your pen, your drawing tools. That's the first piece of data art you created about your friends and trying to create this data visualization about them using pen and paper or markers. Instead of trying to wait for these moments of inspiration or when you have a
Yes.
big chunk of time, instead you can be consistent and do something every day, and possibly one of those things might actually inspire a bigger project. Then the books that you shared, Neil Richards is watching as well, and he says, highly recommend
Oh,
all of those
hello,
books
Neil.
for inspiration. Enjoying your talk. I'm also enjoying it as well. So the books that she showed on the slide were Dear Data, Data Sketches, Making with Data, and then Observe, Collect, and Draw, which is like the journal version. You can actually do some data art in
Yes.
there. Yeah, those are great.
Neil
If
has Neil has nice book
Yes.
too.
Yes, yeah. We had Neil on the show earlier,
It's
Questions in
great.
Data Viz, and yeah, he has a blog as well, Questions in Data Viz.
Books are just really great. I recommend everyone. I didn't read them all yet. I'm almost finished with making it with data, and I read the Dear Data before, but I want to reread it. And this beautiful little journal, Observe, Collect, Draws, looks really interesting for me. And Data Sketch is just like wow. About data visualization, it's cool that there are different ways for people to go into this field, from BI tools like Tableau Lover. There's one type of persons like analysts and data persons. Other one are designers who may be not okay with data, but they are great with Illustrator. And if they get the basics of work with data and tables, they could create really beautiful pieces. And the third one are coders. Coders are so powerful people. Just grab data art and create beautiful pieces. Read the book Data Sketches about Nadia Bremer and Shirley Wu's projects. They're so beautiful, so interactive. I couldn't code so beautiful, but I'm training. I want to code and to create beautiful data art. So if you could code, if you know how to code, especially JavaScript, just create. Drop everything. Begin to create data art. It's really important.
Yeah, I've been meaning
So
to learn D3. I've seen such beautiful pieces of work, even
D3 is really
yeah,
complicated. Begin
yeah.
with P5. GS, it's much simpler. Data Garden have a free tutorial about it. and I am already experimenting with it. So just practice every skill you find fun.
And you also mentioned one of the tip was to find like-minded people, and this is what I see this data art community, Flowers and Numbers, that you created, is that
It
for
really
those
helps.
who want to be around like-minded people, talk about data, geek out about data art, this sounds like the community for that. So thank you for coming on the show today to share all this beautiful work, your inspiration, your advice here. I'm self-taught, and so this seems really daunting when I see a really nice data visualization. That could I make something really that nice myself? Do I have to invest in expensive tools, softwares, and
No,
to do all these
just do it.
tutorials? Yeah, yours is just do it. Keep
Just
it
copy it.
simple. Just
Still like
keep
an
it
artist.
simple. Right. So I love that inspiration that I can draw from your story. We have a LinkedIn user who's watching saying Natalia is so inspiring. I
Thank
100%
you.
agree. I thank you so much for sharing all this. Please, for those who are watching, make sure you're following, connected with Natalia on LinkedIn, as well as her community, Flowers and Numbers.
Thank you.
Join the community.
Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, it was such a pleasure.
I'm excited to tell you about this new course I've made for you. It's called The Fearless Data Presenter, and it's going to tremendously help you with tackling your limiting beliefs and any fears and anxieties you have with presenting your work. I've made it into an audio course so you can listen to this on the go like you do with this podcast. The other great thing is that it's currently going to be priced at only $10. It's honestly been one of the most fulfilling projects I've created in a while. So enroll in this course today while I have this limited time deal at trending-analytics.com/fearless. That's trending-analytics.com/fearless, and I'll also link it in the show notes. Thanks for listening to the Art of Communicating Data show. Please consider subscribing so that you never miss out on a brand new episode. And give us some love by dropping a 5-star rating and written review, as it helps other data practitioners find us. Here's to improving your data communication.